page. Thursday is the end of chapter 8, so page 102. Okay. We spoke yesterday how teshuvah.
Excuse me.
Sure. We spoke how teshuvah is, besides the basic halacha definition of, what's the basic halacha definition of teshuvah? Charata, regret, and Kabbalah al-Hasid. Resolving to not disrespect the connection to Hashem anymore. That's basic teshuvah. You can do that in 1 second, by the way. It says that you can do it in halacha. Theoretically, you can do it in 1 second. However, as we talk in Tanya's trying to understand a deeper understanding of teshuvah, the mechanics, the inside mechanics, we said a big aspect is to awaken Rahmanas, that by the sin, or by the many sins that we all unfortunately stumble with, we are disconnecting our lower neshama that animates the body from the higher neshama, which the higher neshama is being breathed into direct from Hashem. And it's a real Rahmanis. It's a Rahmanis. Imagine a genius kid who could be the next, Einstein or Talmud Chacham, whatever. And then what happens? He's kidnapped to a third world country where they don't speak English, and he's like, can't even speak with anybody, and he's no books and nothing. It's Rahmanis, right? It's like he's not able to be the greatness he can be. How much more so we're talking than the neshama is a part of Hashem. It's like Hashem's in Galus. So it's a big Rahmanis. And that Rahmanis, that compassion for yourself and for Hashem, it really helps access. What does it access? We said yesterday, it accesses something we say every day in davening and Tachron, the Yud Gimel, Midas Harachamim, the 13 attributes of mercy, which represents a level above the system that can restart the system, or we call restart the game of life. So now he quotes a pasuk, or not a pasuk, I'm sorry. I think it's a pasuk. After the wind of forgiveness passes over the souls of sinners and purifies them, so once you do a Rahmanis, you have a real Rahman. By the way, in Tanya it talks a bunch of times about Rahmanis, that it's a very easy human thing to get to, it's an easy emotion. Think if you see a wounded bird. What do you think? What do you feel like when you see a wounded bird? Automatically feel pity for the bird, right? If you see a wounded puppy, cute little puppy that's got its paw was run over by a car and it's limping, and it's wounded, it's in pain. You automatically, it's not even, you don't have to think about it. It's just like, oh my gosh, what a Rahmanis. What? So whatever, another animal. I said a bird.
We never even confirmed that yet.
Okay. But the point is, Rahmanis, compassion, is is one of the easiest human emotions. Very interesting. The problem is, I think most of us, we don't allow ourselves to have Rahman. For a little puppy or a little bird that's wounded, it's easy to have Rahmanis, compassion. But for yourself, you're like, me, I should know better, or that person should know better. How could I have compassion? How could I have, I should know better, they should know better. So there's more like things you're blocking from allowing yourself to have Rahmanis. Pity does not mean you're being a slacker, that you like, I don't have to do anything, I'm innocent. But it's saying like, I'm not being the way I really could be, and I'm like a part of Hashem, so I could really be like incredible amount of goodness. Anyways, after you do that, then there's a wind, Hashem, you awaken a wind of forgiveness from Hashem, then their souls are enabled to return literally unto God Himself, to ascend the greatest heights to their very source and cleave to Him with a remarkable unity. in ultimate union with him, just as before the soul is blown forth by the breath of his mouth. To descend and be incorporated within the body of man. To illustrate this unity, before one exhales, the breath is one with the person inseparably. So this is what I understand. That what happens is the neshama now can return perfect flow to Hashem, to its source, just like it was before Hashem breathed it out. Because we're neshama, as Alan mentions a bunch of times, the neshama exists in Hashem before it's even created. But then it is created, then it is made into a particular life force. But when you do teshuvah, it's like you're almost resetting it fresh. It's reborn, the neshama. For example, when you breathe, guys, take a deep breath. Breathe in, then breathe out. So when you breathe in, the breath is in you. When you breathe out, it's outside of you. So the neshama is a breath of Hashem, the Torah calls it. So when you breathe in, it's like the neshama is it's like the neshama really attached to Hashem, and that's what you're doing through teshuvah, shlema, complete teshuvah. And this state of unity and return is called in the Kabbalah teshuvah ilah, the higher teshuvah that follows the teshuvah tata, the lower teshuvah. What was the lower teshuvah? I'm trying to remember myself. So, just to summarize, I didn't know this, but there's a chumash there if you want. Keep it there for you. Always go back to the letters of Hashem's name. Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. The Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey is reflected. It's reflected in the soul. The soul has a Yud, the Chachma, it has a Hey, the Bina, it has the Vav, the Midos, and the last Hey is the Malchus, the action, or the part of the neshama that goes into the body. When you sin, we said earlier, you are disconnecting the actionable soul, the Hey, into the higher parts of the neshama. That's a big problem. Guys, not ready. Okay.
Say that again, Yitzi.
When you do a sin, you're disconnecting your lower part of your shama, which is the lower Hey, from the Yud and the Hey and the Vav, the higher parts of the neshama. You're disconnecting your neshama.
Why?
Very not good to disconnect yourself from your real self.
Why?
It's like putting yourself in a cage. Okay? When you do teshuvah, which we said is regret and compassion, you know what happens?
What's those?
You break your ego a little bit. What happens is you're reconnecting your two halves of your neshama. Amazing, the higher and the lower. That's all in the category of lower teshuvah, of teshuvah tata. That's all in the category of the lower teshuvah. But when you have compassion of yourself and really, really feel for the neshama, when you really feel how the neshama doing a sin is in a cage, you know what happens? You actually reach so high, and the neshama goes back to perfect, not even perfect, to the way it is when I sort of speak Hashem in the metaphor is inhaling. Because you say the neshama says Hashem blew a neshama into Adam's nose. You said you want to go through that? That's what you said. So he'll wait for us. So when you inhale, that's like, so Hashem, it said he blew a neshama into Adam. It's a mashal. But the mashal we can learn from. So the same way your breath of life is your most important thing of how you exist, your breath. So when you inhale, the breath is in you. When you exhale, it's out of you. So when you do the teshuvah and this high compassion, all that, it's like you're restoring an neshama, not just in the flow, which is good also because it's flowing to the yud and the hey and the vav and the, but you're restoring it to like within Hashem. So it's like really connected to Hashem.
Wow.
Story. There's a great chassid, one of the great chassidim of the Rebbe Rashab, the fifth Chabad Rebbe, I believe. His name was Rabbi David Tzvi Hein. Radatz Hein. He would say he has two questions. One question he has is about how you translate Shema Yisrael. Okay, wait a second. So it says in Chassidus, there's two things interesting. Chassidus says Shema also means gather, because you like here to gather, to summon people, to gather them. So you say Shema Yisrael. Another translation is gather, gather yourself, Israel. Gather yourself together. Like, right. So gather, like, oh Israel, oh you people Israel, stop being in the stock market and this and the davening and the learning and the playing. Gather yourself to be one. So he says, why? What a weird. He's like being sarcastic. Like, why you translate it so oddly? Just translate it, hero Israel. That's one. He says, why you have like a Hasidic interpretation that's a weird interpretation. Number two, he says, it says is Sefer HaGilgulim in the book of reincarnations. Do you boys know what reincarnation is?
No.
You know what Gilgul is? What's a Gilgul?
It's when someone who's in
The Shama.
Yeah, he didn't finish his mission in this world.
They didn't finish.
Yeah, he enters someone else's body.
So he comes back in another life.
To do that.
So listen to this. So reincarnation is a thing in Judaism, but it says that if a person sins really badly, the Arizal, the holy Arizal says, a person could be reincarnated to an animal. Like on some level, part of his neshama that was so blemished that did this avera can go into an animal. For example,
Wow.
The Rebbe, he took out a fish and apparently it was like a gilgul.
So he made a bracha. What did he do with it?
I don't remember.
Okay, there's many stories of that. Yeah, many Hasidic masters would know that this fish or this brook of water, there was a gilgul there, and they had to do a mitzvah to reincarnate, to rectify it, whatever. So he says there's two averas it talks about. If a person does them, this is the animal you become, or whatever. I mean, I don't know if it's every type of everybody who sins, but maybe an extreme way. A person is very, very arrogant and chutzpah, tremendous chutzpah to people. They become a dog because the dog is very arrogant, very doesn't know its place. Maybe like an attack dog. You're a barking, chutzpah dog. You become a person. You become a chutzpah. Okay, a person that does adultery, they can become a donkey because donkeys are all over the place. So he says, what if a person does other sins? These are two things. What about other sins? So he says like this. When we say you're reincarnated after your death into an animal, it doesn't mean the entire soul is reincarnated. It means the part of the soul that allowed you to be a big chutzpah fighter with other people, that's a part of you. It's not only part, it's a part of you. Okay? So that part became blemished with sin, the sin of chutzpah and anger and arrogance, whatever that is. So that part has to be dealt with. That's that part. So if a person doesn't mean every single part. It means one part of the soul goes to become a dog. And if a person does adultery, it's one part of them. So they don't respect marriage. So they one part, they become a donkey. Okay. When you say Shema Yisrael, hero, what are you talking to? So you're talking to Hashem.
What does hero mean?
Here, it's like a poetry way of saying, here, listen, Israel. So he says, so that's why the Hasidic interpretation of Shema is gather all these parts. Don't think like there's a part of me that's worrying about money and there's a part of me worrying about this or a part of me being mean or they're all parts of you. Gather them together and stop fragmenting them because a lot of times it's very modern psychology, by the way, about parts.
What's
you can ask your mother about parts.
What's that word?
It's a big thing in mom using the psychology. Part
No,
therapy.
You said mana. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about
It's okay.
He's saying if you want to really focus your day, you have to say Shema. Gather all parts of your soul together. And that solves the problem of how we can allow a part to get all messed up. So this great chassid he was a genius. He was a rav. He was a big rabbi. Radat Hein, Rabbi David Tzvi Hein.
The fifth Rabbi?
He was a chassid. He wasn't a rebbe. He was a chassid.
Wow.
He was a big Talmid Chacham.
Wow.
So this is very true. What we're saying here that a big part of your teshuvah is to realize what you sinned. Why do you have to know? He said, I don't know what I sinned. I'm just not going to do any more sins. No, you have to say, I did this sin to yourself in Tachnon. Why did you say, I did this sin? Just say, I did so many bad things. I don't want to think about it. I'm just going to do all good mitzvahs now. Why do you have to actually know what you sinned? Like, just do good now. Why think about the bad? The reason is because, why do you sin? The reason is because parts of your neshama got exiled through whatever bad ideas or bad friends or whatever it is to do something negative. But it's only a part of you doing something negative. So you have to know, oh my gosh, this part of my neshama got exiled into this place. I gotta be aware. I gotta bring it back. I gotta do. You can't. You have to be very aware of all the parts of your neshama that did sins that are all like trapped. Once you collected and reconnected all those parts that are in exile because of the sins, then you can go to the higher level of really feeling one with Hashem, like the breath inside of Hashem. This is amazing stuff.
Wow.
Okay, continuing on. The Zohar says, in part, it's very short, don't worry. The Zohar in part Raya Mehemna in Parshas Nasi says, Teshuvah Ilah, what does it look like? What does it look like? So I said it's like the soul's a little connected. It's Humpty Dumpty. You're putting all the pieces back together again. But then you can reset Humpty Dumpty to be a new egg. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, but what does it look like? So it says in the Zohar says that the higher teshuvah, that is studying Torah with fear and love of the Holy One, blessed be He. So when you study Torah, you're learning it with a lot of emotion, with love for Hashem. I love the Hashem, that's Hashem's wisdom and the connecting to Hashem to Torah. That is Ben Yud. The word Bina. Bina is the part of your neshama. Think about it. What part of your neshama learns Torah? So Chachma is more just like the curiosity, but Bina is the real intellectual process. Okay? So Bina is the part of the neshama. We said there's 10 parts of the neshama. Chachma, Bina, Das, and then the Midas and Malchus, whatever. The point is that Bina is the Torah side. So it says, they say, what does it mean to do the higher teshuvah? It means you're doing Bina. Bina is, can you take the word Bina, Ben Yud Kei, a son of the letters Yud Hey. What's a son of the letters Yud Hey? What comes after you have Chacham Bina? When you think about an idea deeply, you have feelings. So love and fear, the feelings for Hashem can be generated by learning Torah, because you're thinking about like this Hashem's Torah, I'm learning Hashem's Torah. So it makes you have a real emotional connection to Hashem as well. So yeah, okay. Moving along. Now, a question arises. Seemingly, let's say it's a tzaddik who never sinned. If he learns Torah, because tzaddikim, they learn a lot of Torah.
Mm-hmm.
I think all the Rebbeim learned a lot of Torah their whole life. Like they're like 18 hours a day or something. I don't think they did sins like us. Not, so when they did, so they're learning Torah, they're not having the same connection with us. Meaning, it's saying that this ability to learn Torah, this like very loving way, is after someone does teshuvah. You get to do Torah this way. But a tzaddik can't do it like this way. So the answer is there's an advantage of a Baal teshuvah over a tzaddik. The guy who sinned and came back versus the guy who never sinned. The superiority of the Baal teshuvah, the penitent, over the tzaddik, over the perfectly righteous, is what? As the Zohar says in Parashas Chayei, about Tshuva draws upon himself with more intense longing of the heart. Yes, they have more emotion than the tzaddik. The tzaddik also has emotion, but the Baal Tshuva knows the pain of disconnection. Now he's so longing to come back. And he has greater longing with greater falseness to approach the king. David HaMelech said, Tzama lecha nafshi. He said, Tzama lecha nafshi, right? My soul thirsts for you, Hashem. Kama lecha visari. My soul pains for you. My flesh pains for you. Be'eretz siyaviyayev b'li mayim. That in a place of a dry desert, when there's a lack of the water of Torah and of Hashem, I'm thirsting for you. The Baal Shem, second. If only I would feel this way. It's in a way, it's easier to desire Hashem when you feel disconnected, when you feel far away. It's natural. You feel far. You want it. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. A person who is, let's say, they're always doing Torah and goodness, it's amazing. But do they feel that longing as much as the guy who's far away? They don't. So that's the advantage of a Baal Teshuvah. And we're all Baal Teshuvah today.